welcome to the monthly motivation challenge. I'd like to congratulate you on surviving through week 1 and getting to week 2. Now, week 1 was made to get us out of our comfort zone, try some new challenges, set up some new habits in a routine in our day to help us progress through this month and come out the other side with a whole bunch of new habits, new ideas, new focus areas for our mind to think about as we keep progressing throughout our year. It can be really hard to implement change in our lives, particularly when we're trying to break habits that we've been doing for our entire life so far. Particularly something as brushing your teeth with your wrong hand. Now that is one that you don't have to continue moving forwards. Any of these tasks that you are struggling with a little bit at the moment, I want you to stay with it. Keep going, keep pushing yourself, keep challenging yourself as well. The week 1 challenge, asking for a discount. I'd like to congratulate everyone that's already given this a go. And for those of you that still need to do this task, there's a couple more days to tick it off your calendar. Ask for help if you need it. That's what the Facebook group is there for. Jump on, support each other, and we'll get through this together. Week 2. Week 2 is titled, We Become What We Focus On. This week is about putting our minds in a state to actively notice what we want to think about. Now, I know that sounds a little bit confusing. How do I actively choose what I'm going to think about? My thoughts just happen. Now, our brains have something called a reticular activating system. I'll go into this in a little bit more detail in a second. Have you ever noticed that when you're thinking of buying a particular type of car or potentially a particular type of dog, that you start to think every second person has the same car, every second person has the same type of dog? Now, this is because our brain's actively choosing to focus on those things now. It's not that those things weren't there before and that suddenly every second person has that type of car or type of dog. It's that our brains are starting to actively notice that that's what is actually around us. Those things have been there all along. We just haven't picked up on them before. We're really, really good at tuning out everything that's going on around us that doesn't help us. So this week, what we're going to be doing is focusing on the positives and focusing on gratitude. The reticular activating system. Now this is actually a system within our brain that has the function of noticing what we think about. This is pretty important in our lives, particularly as we do have a 7-to-1 negativity bias. So we do tend to notice things that are negative an awful lot more than we notice the things that are positive. So this week is all about focusing on the positives, focusing on gratitude, focusing on joy. Your daily task for week 2. This week, you're going to need an empty jar, a pack of sticky notes, and a pen. Every single day, what I need you to do is to write one positive thing that you notice from your day on a sticky note and put it in the jar. Done. What this does is this builds up a jar of all of your sticky notes, and this jar is going to become your best friend by the end of the week. I've been doing this for a while. As you can see, I've sort of filled up my jar a little bit with all of my sticky notes. The point of the jar is that when we are actively choosing something positive that we focus on every day and writing it down on our sticky note, fold it up, put it in the jar. At the end of the week, you get to open that jar and relive all of those exciting moments that you wrote down. Now, it may have been that the sun was out one day and you were able to sit outside for 5 minutes and giving yourself a break. It might be that your daughter gave you an unexpected hug and that made your day. There might be something little that just happens in your day, that your coffee was extra tasty today. Doesn't really matter what it is, but it's got to be positive. We're trying to actively get our brain thinking in this pattern of searching for the positives in our day. When we start our day like this, it's going to be so much easier to start noticing all of the positives that are in our lives that we just take for granted most of the time. So, again, your daily task, one positive thing on your sticky note in the jar. Now, If you're on a roll, feel free to keep going with more than one each day. That's totally fine, but at least one in the jar on that sticky note. This week, for our weekly challenge, we've got a part 1 and a part 2. Part 1, you're going to sit down and write a letter. This letter needs to be handwritten. You're going to post it in the snail mail to someone that you care about, letting them know what's going on in your life at the moment, how you're going, and how you're thinking about them. It can be to anyone that you feel like. It could be to your grandma, it could be to your partner, it could be to your mother. It's going to go in the post and you're going to handwrite it the whole way through. All right? You're not going to tell them that you're sending them a letter. So let's hope that you have their address already. All right? This is going to be such a nice surprise for them to get this letter in the post. This is about sharing the gratitude and sharing the joy that you're experiencing this week. Part 2. Part 2 this week is you're going to phone a friend. I know you may have heard of this one before, but who actually gives themselves time to do this. Call a friend, call a family member, sit down, have a chat with them. Check in with them and see how they're going. This is all about, again, sharing the gratitude, sharing the joy, and letting someone know that you're thinking about them. That's all for this week. So again, recapping, our daily task is to write down one positive thing on a sticky note and put it in our jar. Our weekly tasks, we've got part 1, which is writing a handwritten letter to a friend and posting it in the snail mail. Part 2 is calling someone else, a different friend, and letting them know that you've been thinking about them and that you wish them well. All right? I'm really excited to see how we go with this week. Make sure you keep posting on our Facebook group. That's what it's there for. Get the community around you, get the support, and I'll see you back again for week number 3.